Welcome to Market Tea Tuesday,
where the tea is always hot.
Welcome. It's been some time.
Need a mic for this one because we got a lot to say, okay?
Uh-oh. Does that mean that
so everybody sees the headlines and we're in war and gas prices are soaring? The good news is that even though rates did go up, because rockets go up, rates go up because of instability in the market that we've talked about. Right. But, we've seen this. I think that we've seen that it's hit the high. So we're coming back down, right?
Right.
And so I just think that, like I always say, rates are like a toddler. They throw a temper tantrum and then you give them a lollipop and they calm back down.
Right. And I do think it's very important for anyone that was pre-approved within the last couple weeks just to get in touch with their lender to go over what all these changes have, what the numbers look like now, because they may look a little different and we want to make sure that you're still comfortable, right? So now is the time to definitely get in touch and just
especially if you were on a cusp too, I think is super important. Because you just want to make sure that payment feasibility is still there. It's nothing to be scary, but this is also a good example of why we say stop trying to time the market, right? Because rates were down pretty significantly, right? And so don't try to time the market. You just have to buy when it feels comfortable for you, like when it fits what you and your family's budget is. And we're not saying go in to buy something that you can't afford, right? But I think it's important to know that, like, you can't time the market. You're never going to see where rates are because we didn't expect to be in war, right?
Yeah, that hit us. I mean, that we were not expecting that at all. That was a big surprise. And we saw the shift in the market almost instantly, right? I mean, we saw the gas prices go up. We're already seeing that. The last I read was like I think it's $100 a barrel right now, which 120 exactly. So it's just going to keep, shifting. So we just got to be prepared and make sure that we're asking all the right questions. So definitely get in touch with your lender. Like Ashley said, payment feasibility is the most important thing. So let's make sure you're still comfortable to avoid any issues in the long run, right? Because I read something that there was some research done where buy now, pay later services are on the rise. And they specifically pointed out individuals that recently just bought their property, how they have shown an increase in buy now, pay later. So, and they're more likely, I think it was like 8% more likely to default on their mortgage. So within the first year, which is crazy. So that's why we preach, make sure you're comfortable with the payment, because that's what you're going to have to face every month. Don't focus on the rate. Don't focus on anything else. As long as the monthly payment you're comfortable with, then go ahead and move forward.
Another big thing to point out too is why everybody who's bought, like, while rates are where they're at, they've been able to get seller concessions, which we've talked about quite a few times. But another thing too is, like, we've seen home appreciation on average 5.3%, and that's across the US. So you have to remember that there's places that don't see that type of appreciation. So Florida sees the highest amount of appreciation. And so I think that's really important to point out, is that you think about 5.3% on such a large purchase, like $400,000, for example. Like, you're not going to make that money in the market. Like, people love to make that kind of return. And you need someplace to live. Like, just because gas prices go up doesn't mean you're going to stop driving, right? Like, you're still going to drive. You're still going to go pay $4 a gallon, right? Like, you're not going to wait for it to be 99 cents a gallon, because you're going to be waiting a long time. Like, everybody, I mean, we remember when gas prices were 99 cents. Our parents remember when it was 50 cents. Imagine nobody would be driving if they still waited for that.
That's true. I was shocked this morning. I will say I had to pump gas.
Also, I'm shocked at the average car price too. So the average car payment right now is between $800 and $1,200 a month. And we're not talking
insane.
That's half of a mortgage payment right now. Like, for a decent sized house, for something that you drive off the lot and it depreciates. So the funny thing is, when you walk into a car dealership, how many times do you see, like, you don't ever know what the rate is until you're already signing on the dotted line. Okay. Because they're not showing you that. They're showing you that payment. Yeah. And you're like, okay, yeah, I can afford that payment. So it should be the same thing in mortgages. Everybody's so rate focused, but to be honest with you, like, that's not where you should put your focus, because that can change 10 times a day. You should put your focus on that payment comfortability, how feasible it is for you to get in a house. Like if you're going to move in 6 months, maybe we don't buy a house, right? But if you're stable and or you can turn it into a rental later, maybe it is a good time.
Right. And I think that's why those conversations are so important, right? Even if there's no commitment when you come to us and try to strategize what's going to work for you in the long run, right? Maybe we do encourage you like, hey, you know what, let's go ahead and rent or extend your lease for 1 more year. Because I think at that point, we're going to be at a much better place, right? Or let's make sure in that time we do X, Y, Z. So get an action plan together to still have that on your radar, right? Still meet your goal of homeownership, but just do it with a little bit more confidence.
And we haven't been on for a few weeks too. So something to really point out that's happened in that time is no more trigger leads.
Oh, so yeah, that's huge.
There's no more constant calling. Like there's nothing like that. So I think that's really, really huge as well. That's something that we fought a long time for. It helps you as a client just really step away from having 50,000 calls and having confusion because there's not a lot of clarity in that, right? And so I think that that's super important as well. And then another
pause because we have to give you kudos. You were part of this whole thing. So thank you from one broker to another.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So another thing too is like we see top US regulators trying to get banks back in. Well, imagine walking into Costco tomorrow and only having one option to buy in Costco.
Well, that's okay. So look what Redfin, what was it, Rocket, and Compass just did, right? They're kind of like steering it all together, and it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the market.
It's a monopolization. Like here's the thing is when you hire an agent or a broker, they should have your best interest in mind, not theirs or not this like war against things. It should really be about what gets you the most dollar amount and so forth. And so I think it's really important to evaluate your decisions based on those things. Is your house going to be on there? Because let's just be honest, people are still going to be looking on Zillow. Okay. It's just become common nature for us. It's like saying that we're going to stop Googling. We're not. Like just because ChatGPT is here doesn't mean we're going to stop Googling because we're still going to Google, right? We're just going to build in a different AI platform. So really important things. Don't let things monopolize you or anything like that. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And any questions, always reach out. I mean, there's no such thing as too many questions, a dumb question. I think we're in an era where there's so much information overload that it gets a little, overwhelming. So just for clarification purposes, we're always a phone call away.
And if anything, like you need us to run numbers or anything, please let us know. But we're here to not give you scare tactics because guess what? Clickbait sells every single time. So they're here to give you that fear mongering. So you run away from things and stuff like that. So.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we will be here again next week, and we hope to see a couple of you join us. And if you have any questions from now to then that you want us to touch on or bring up during our live, make sure to let us know.
See y'all later.
Bye. See you next week.